once again on Lagos Television, and we're very, very happy that you can also join us at this moment. My name is Omololu Rosonwo. In Nigeria, every 27th of May is set aside to honor our children. Of course, that's been long for many years, but that did not even start until around 1925, when the first International Children's Day was held in Geneva, Switzerland. Afterwards, in 1950, another convergence was made, and of course, November 20, every November 20 was set aside for International Children's Day. But in Nigeria, we celebrate it every May 27, and of course, there are other issues that also come with child and parenting. We'll be looking at that today, and we of course know that good parenting is key to having good morals and also values in the society. Today I have two people that will be discussing that with me. To my immediate right, I have a mother and also a developmental child psychologist. Her name is Mabel. For Mabel. Nice to have you at TalkPoint.
My pleasure being here. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming. And also have with us here the president of Institute of Marriage Counselors of Nigeria, and he's also a family coach. I have Dr. Temilade Oladele. Nice to have you on TalkPoint.
Thank you very much.
Yes, it's nice having you. Yes, a couple of times we've been on air to talk on family values. Nice to have you join us again. Now, we need to look at good parenting or parenting in the 21st century. When we say that, what do we actually mean? Let me first start with you, Mabel.
Okay, thank you. So, when we talk about good parenting, in as much as some people would say it's a relative good, now the word good relative is relative and can be subjective. But then as a society, we know that there are certain expectations and there are certain standards. So when we say good parenting, we're looking at that parenting system and style that forms a child, that supports a child to grow up to be one morally responsible and then responsive to the needs of society. We're talking about parenting that equips the child not just to be a member of society, but to be an integral part of that society and contribute meaningfully.
Yes, let me come to you, Dr. Oladele. What are your own observations when we talk of parenting? What used to obtain in the 60s up to the early 80s. Can you just give us some example on your own views? How has it been so far?
Okay, thank you very much. There has been a shift from what it used to be, that is old parenting, and modern day parenting. The old parenting, they used to be more assertive. They used to set boundaries, standards with which a child can go and the limit with which the child can go. But the modern day parenting, with the advent of technology, marital crisis, and such other, socio-emotional issues, have made parenting of the present age to be more, on the negative side, even against the children. For example, the old parenting, the father or the parent will say, this is what you must do, particularly when it has to do with safety. They don't give the children opportunity for negotiation on their decision. But the present day, the present age parenting, opinions of the children are even given more premium than what the parent will need to affirm, to say, this is what is an acceptable norm in the society, and you must not go against this. But we see situations whereby children will misbehave, and it's the parent that will be defending their misconduct, their ineptitude. So that's why a lot of things are actually happening in the present age. But the old age, though, look to be, this day they will look at it as somehow archaic. But those of us that we are migrating from the old age, we can see the value in us in terms of knowing what we should do, in terms of understanding the fact that hard work, dedication, respecting one another, and in fact, contributing to the society is part of what makes you a total being, a total child in the society.
Yeah. It's good that you have given us that background because we need to make comparison. Yeah, you're a present-day mom. I'll put it that way. Yeah, maybe you're a present-day mom.
I am.
Yes. Looking at that now, how do you think you can learn from the olden days parenting? Yeah, the present day parenting in the 21st century is good. Yeah, what are some of the things we can pick from the olden days parenting and possibly marry with the new age parenting that will probably churn out good values in our children?
I would say the part that has to do with setting boundaries and ensuring that children have discipline. That used to be before, and it still is, even until now. However, we have a situation like Doctor said, that in certain circumstances, the children's voice seems to be more heard. But we always know that when it comes to raising children, whether now or then, boundaries, children need clear boundaries and know what to expect out of that relationship, what consequences come for behaviors. So I think the other thing that sometimes we're confused is that aspect of discipline, proper discipline, and then physical punishment. Sometimes there's that mix-up. Right? Discipline is good for children any day, anytime. But what sort of discipline are we bringing to the table? I think for me, that's that difference, right?
Okay.
So from the old up until now, boundaries, discipline, children need to have that balance to know what is expected of them at each point in time and what consequences would follow when they're not aligned. And the thing about the good age thing that we need to begin to appreciate in terms of parenting is the fact that even when we used to do parenting back then, there was not a lot of research and science backing what we were doing. So for instance, we don't know that there's a certain amount of discipline and boundary setting that will stifle the sense of autonomy of the child. But now with science, research-backed trainings and all of those things, we get to know that even as we want children to be disciplined, there has to be a balance between that love, boundary setting, and the discipline we bring to the children. That's what brings the whole child. We don't want children to be self-regulated and disciplined, but also very with low self-esteem. We want children that can be bold, have a sense of agency, and that's what modern parenting, when properly done, brings to the table.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to reverse the question now. Let me go back to you.
Yes.
So for the old folks, what do you think they can pick or learn from the present-day parenting so that we can also strike a balance?
That's good. Just like my colleague has said, the present, if you want to really align or flow with the present-day parenting, you need to understand the present age style. Like the present age now is like we're in between two global risks. One, the real world and the virtual world.
Okay.
If you sit on the real world, you'll be living in the past, and there's no future in the past. So you are, as parents, you have to align with what is obtainable, what is actually the current reality, so that you'll be able to balance the chart. Because if you, like in our days, you say you want to beat a child to the extent of bleeding blood, there's a law against that. If you are not careful, you'll be charged for child abuse, and it could be costly. So what you intentionally wanted to do to instill discipline in the child, if you don't inculcate the present age style, you are likely to lose the game. And in fact, you may be creating more enmity between you and the child. Okay. Because in the present age now, with visual system of parenting now, these children are exposed to what is obtainable globally. So if the gap is too wide, the child be likely run away even from the home. I will not be able to achieve what we need to achieve. However, to round up that one, that is where we need to balance parenting style.
Okay.
whereby we have, I think let's mention 4 of them, authoritarian parenting style, authoritative parenting style, permissive parenting style, and also neglectful parenting style. But either of these 4, no one is, it's not a stereotype thing. Flexibility must come in. For authoritarian parenting style, we make you to tell the child, this is the rule, and these are the consequences. And when, particularly when security is involved, the parent will need to say, you cannot do this, and the child must not do it. Any attempt to violate it attracts consequences. But authoritative parenting scheme will give the child opportunity to express her opinion. That's where the use of self-esteem, will come to play. But the parent will still make sure they are in charge of the discussion, even though the child is given opportunity to hear his or her perception, her opinion, her feeling, but notwithstanding, parents, they are still in charge. But when it becomes permissive style of parenting, yes, the parent will only take care of the basic need of the child, but other, emotional needs, attention, and the rest of them is being neglected. And you are not likely to add value to that child as a parent. Yes, you provide, they need money, you provide, they need this. No, there are some value, cultural values that need to be inculcated into these children, and the children should be able to know from their parents that these are acceptable norms in the society that make one to be responsible and responsive a fellow. And also, the negative parenting style, as I mentioned, has to do with parents not having much time for the children.
Leaving the child aside, so the child can be anything.
So they produce nuisance to the society.
And that's what we're actually guiding against.
Guiding against.
Yes, that nuisance should not be in the society.
Shouldn't.
Children that will add value to the economy, to the society is what we should be looking at. Okay, let me come to you, Mabel. As a developmental child psychologist, what are the things that you think, let me put it, what are your findings and what are the things you think we can do to actually get out of this quagmire?
So I think parents need support in terms of, we always joke around the fact that parenting is that school you go to without getting any formal training. But that was back then. Now we are looking at what is going on in society. For parents to be successful, they need that support. They need parenting education. We have a lot of people. So you have a system where people are getting through school very quickly, right? So they're not spending so much time with parents, so they're not getting so much mentorship from their own parents. And then they're going on to start their own families. So one thing that is very crucial, that is a need at this point in time, is for government to realize that for us to have parents that can raise children that can be that beneficial and productive in society, parents need support. Parent education, parent training, those are things that government can do so that parents know what to do and how to draw the lines and how to raise their own children. And then in addition to that, is that understanding that, yes, like you rightly said, we have the different parenting styles, right? But we know that the authoritative parenting, but then there's also the thing of what is called a stepped-up approach to parenting. Right, a stepped-up approach in the sense that I'm not going to sit down with a 2-year-old and be negotiating things that are of very big importance. You got
to be authoritarian at that moment.
So that's also being authoritative, really, because there's also boundary setting. So yes, you feel like you need to wear you want to wear ski clothes to school on a Monday morning. It sounds fancy to you for the egocentric 2-year-old, but that's not normal. That's not okay. So I'm going to put my feet down and tell you, no, you can't have that. It's different from when I have a 15-year-old.
Okay.
That is going to be going to the university very soon. So it's beyond me disciplining or setting boundaries. It's also a mentoring relationship with my child. So I have put some values in this child over time. Very soon this child would leave home and need to take decisions. So I want to hear from my child. Why are you saying you want to do this? It's only when I'm able to listen to my child and then, okay, this might not work, why not try this and offer solutions that when she or he gets to school, to the university, I'm not going to be called on the phone for every decision. Should I go for lecture today? So it's a stepped-up approach. As sometimes, as parents, we take most of the decisions, but at other times, we bring the children in because you're preparing them to start their own families and to become independent citizens. So I would look at parenting as more like something that is graduated over time.
Yes, that brings me to, because you stepped on that, let me just quickly mention it, that welfare of children is also very key to whatever we're doing. Yes, and that brings me to the First Lady of Lagos State, Dr. Claudiana Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, that had a session which happened this morning. I'm sure we'll have the footage that we can use of the First Lady of Lagos State, Dr. Claudiana Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, who also put up a program called the TB Awareness and Screening Exercise. I don't know if we have the footage there so that we can also let our people see it. Maybe while we're discussing the footage will come up. But she actually put up that TB awareness program and screening exercise so that the young ones at the secondary school, public secondary schools, will have knowledge of this and will ensure. I think we're seeing that on the screen now. Yeah, so that started this morning, and that has to do with the welfare of children, and that event is happening in every public school, and it's because we have 6 education districts in Lagos State, and it's going to happen in all the education districts which comprises of the 5 divisions of the state. So that's the program that we're seeing on the screen, and it's a way of actually saying, look, be aware that TB is a killer disease, but you can quickly get over it if it is detected early enough. So she also mentioned some things on it. I don't know if we can also have a sound bite. I don't know if we cannot have that sound bite now. Okay, if we can't have that sound bite now, I just thought I should mention it. Maybe when the time comes, we can have the sound bite on it. Now looking at that, let's also see how we can also pay attention to our children. You're a mother, he's a father, I'm a father, but I'm here on this side asking you questions. So doctor, I know you have grown-up kids. How can we further take care of? Okay, I'm told now that we can have the soundbite of the First Lady, Dr. Claudiana Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu. Let's listen to that.
It's a stigma. I can see some people carrying some placards. Don't stigmatize and discriminate against people with TB. Very important. And again, because a lot of people don't even know that they have this issue in them, late detection also further spreads this thing. We have people, a lot of you that commune up and down in the buses, walking. You have people that also enter the buses. Sometimes you see them coughing in the bus. We don't know what type of cough they have. So that's why we always encourage them to cover their mouth, use their handkerchief, or cough into their elbows. Please, if you see someone coughing, try as much as possible to either advise them to take that action or try to, move away a little bit because you don't know what type of cough it is so that you don't get infected. And it's very important that you take that action and also communicate and educate people in the community so that they are aware that TB is curable, TB is treatable, and the treatment is free. The screening too is free.
Yeah, that's the First Lady of Lagos State, Dr. Claudiana Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, talking about the awareness on TB and its screening. She's actually a TB ambassador, a tuberculosis ambassador, somebody working against that disease and ensuring that children in Lagos, they do not have that. Let me come to our parents in the studio, including myself, but just like I said earlier, I have the privilege of asking you questions. Yeah, let me go to the women. You mothers are the ones that actually have more contact with the children at home. Now, in situations like this, how can we help maintain, looking at the background of which you also come from, how can we further help maintain good relationship, good health, psychological balance, physical balance, you understand, in our children and mental balance?
So I wish I could agree with you that mothers spend more time. It depends on the family, right? So in some families, fathers actually spend more time with the children. So how can we achieve that emotional well-being and create that balance? It's something that is a teamwork, right, between the father and the mother. I think a key thing in this age is reducing pressure on children, whether it's academic pressure, examination pressures and all of those things, too much demands and over expectations on our children. That's on the one side. And helping them also make quality decisions about how they use devices. You know, there's a lot of research that tells us that there's so much that it's taken away from children when they do too much of devices, right? So you're cutting out of enriching relationships that are physical, and then you're hooking up with virtual relationships that really are not very concrete. For instance, if I'm feeling sad and all of that, a physical relationship might help me go through that period better than a virtual relationship. Plus the fact that you have so many things going on online. There's a lot of pressure online for the children. There's cyberbullying. There's that also performance anxiety, what to post to get all the likes and all of that. These things put pressure on our children, plus the effect of the blue lights. Effect of blue light. So the child is on the screen 24/7. And that happens a lot of time when we are too permissive with how we allow children to use devices. Children need, and that's where those boundaries come in. Children need us to be able to say, okay, put structure for you. It's addictive. Devices are addictive. You get addicted. I get addicted. We want to just touch our phone at the littlest ping that we get. So children need that support from families to say, okay, this is how you're going to use the device for your mental well-being. Children need that connectedness and relationship with parents to be able to have a positive self-esteem so that they are not looking for that affirmation outside there. I've realized something, and from a lot of researchers, a lot of times when a child gets abused, when you have a situation where there's been a compromise in mental health and all of that, when you dig deeper, you find out that a lot of times there are children that really don't have a relationship with the parents. There's no one that they can talk to at home. So for us to be able to support children, we have to be present as parents, both mom and dad. There's a role the father plays, there's a role the mother plays. The other thing we need to do as parents is to help children balance how they use technology.
Okay.
I think those two things.
Those things we have. Yeah. As we round up, so, Doctor, what's your own take as we round up?
Well, the parents and the children, they should be well connected. In the area of love, in the area of caring, in the area of showing empathy. You see, these children carry most of the time what they learn from home to the wider world. So a chaotic family environment is not likely to produce a sound, individual as a product of that family. So what's these children? How do they learn from the parents? How do they see us doing? Okay. So most of the things they see us doing affects their mental being, emotional being, and all of sorts.
Yes, things. Okay. So what you're saying in essence is that whatever you want them to learn is what you should let them see. Mm-hmm. So because they pick fast when they see what you learn. But those things must be good and have good values, not the bad ones that will further influence them negatively. Yeah. I guess that's what we're saying now.
Yeah, that is the point.
Yes, I want to thank you, Mabel Okeria, for a developmental child psychologist, for coming on TalkPoint.
My pleasure.
Yes, I also want to thank you so much, Dr. Temelade Oladele, family coach, for being part of TalkPoint.
God bless you.
Yes, on that note, we have come to the end of TalkPoint. 767 and 112 are still the lines to always call in times of emergency. Stay out of trouble and ensure that you help in building a better society, and that actually starts from the family. I am Omololu Rosanwu, signing out.